of the most daring and devastating Ukrainian attacks on Russian troops since the start of the war. Tonight, President Zelensky said his forces used 117 drones in strikes on Russian air bases from deep inside Russia itself, targeting warplanes, including strategic bombers.
The night sky over Ukraine has grown accustomed to fire. What was once the quiet canvas of stars is now routinely painted with streaks of light. Drones, missiles, and anti-air fire tracing deadly arcs across the heavens. According to the Ministry of Defense of Russia, operators of the unmanned aerial brigades from the 7th Airborne Division of the Guard destroyed enemy infantry near the settlement of Plavny in Zaporizhzhia. This statement, like so many issued daily, is cold, factual, stripped of the anguish it leaves behind. Yet every village name mentioned in these reports represents families, streets, memories, and soil soaked with blood. Russian military reports describe these clashes clinically, yet the reality on the ground is chaos. The battles near Plavny are not just small skirmishes. They are threads woven into the broader tapestry of the Zaporizhzhia front, one of the most fiercely contested axes in the war. The 7th Airborne Division, a proud formation of Russia's elite forces, claims to have struck down Ukrainian infantry. But Ukrainian reports counter that their defensive lines remain intact, fortified by trenches, minefields, and layers of obstacles reminiscent of the Second World War's Eastern Front. Soldiers on both sides fight in a landscape scarred by artillery craters, where every step could mean safety or the detonation of a hidden mine. Both armies frame these battles as triumphs. Russia says its airborne troops are dismantling Ukrainian advances piece by piece. Ukraine highlights the courage of its defenders, holding the line despite overwhelming bombardment. The truth lies somewhere in between, an attritional struggle, where progress is measured not in kilometers gained, but in bodies lost, equipment destroyed, and the slow grind of exhaustion. What makes Zaporizhzhia critical is not just its geography, but its symbolism. To Russia, holding these areas means protecting the land corridor to Crimea. To Ukraine, breaking through means severing that lifeline and striking deep into occupied territory. That is why these clashes, though described in sterile military updates, carry the weight of the entire war effort. Across the Dnieper River, Ukrainian artillerymen adjust their sights. The echo of Russian strikes near Plavny reverberates through the night, and Ukrainian gunners respond with counter-battery fire. Russian reports later claim that Ukrainian batteries were suppressed, but Ukrainian commanders tell another story. They continue to shell Russian supply routes relentlessly, hoping to choke the flow of ammunition and reinforcements. This back and forth is not new. Since the summer, Zaporizhzhia has become a cauldron where tactics evolve daily. Russian units fortify, Ukrainians probe for weak spots, drones buzz constantly overhead. The Ministry of Defense's statements about operators destroying enemy infantry are shorthand for hours of fighting in fields, forests, and shattered villages, where drone operators, infantrymen, and artillery crews all dance a deadly ballet. What is often omitted in official communiques is the human side. In Plavny, Residents who once farmed fertile soil now live underground, in cellars, or have fled entirely. Those who remain measure time by the sound of shelling, knowing instinctively which whistles are incoming rockets, which thuds mark mortars, and which vibrations in the ground signal heavy artillery. The war has stripped them of normal life, leaving only survival. Military analysts explain that both sides are locked in a war of attrition. Russia, with its larger manpower reserves, seeks to grind Ukraine down. Ukraine, bolstered by Western technology and precision weapons, seeks to offset Russia's numerical advantage with smarter strikes. Each clash, like the one near Plavny, becomes a microcosm of this larger struggle. Both armies tally destroyed vehicles, drones shot down, or enemy soldiers killed as though they were points in a deadly game. But unlike a game, the losses carve permanent scars on families and nations. The 7th Airborne, Rhone Division of the Guard, mentioned in Russia's report, has a long history of elite operations. Formed in the Soviet era, it has fought in Afghanistan, Chechnya, and Georgia. Its paratroopers are celebrated in Russian military culture, often depicted as hardened warriors capable of breaking enemy lines. Yet in Ukraine, even elite divisions find themselves bogged down in grinding trench warfare, fighting not in rapid airborne maneuvers, but in muddy fields where progress is measured in meters. Ukrainian forces, for their part, draw strength from a different legacy. Many of the soldiers now entrenched near Plavny are volunteers who once worked in offices, schools and farms. Their resolve is not born of military tradition, but of necessity. Their homes, families and freedom are at stake. Western trainers and NATO support have transformed them into capable fighters, but their greatest weapon remains determination. This war has turned ordinary citizens into hardened veterans. In describing the destruction of enemy infantry, Russia highlights its ability to inflict casualties. But behind that phrase are human lives, sons, fathers, brothers, cut down in the prime of youth. Ukrainian obituaries flood social media daily, honoring those lost near Zaporizhzhia, Bakhmut, Kherson, and elsewhere. Russian families, too, receive quiet telegrams announcing the death of their loved ones, though public mourning is often suppressed or politicized. The fighting near Plavny also reflects the rise of drones as the defining weapon of this war. Both Russia and Ukraine deploy them in vast numbers. Small commercial drones drop grenades into trenches. Larger military drones conduct surveillance and direct artillery fire. And on certain nights, swarms of kamikaze drones streak across the sky like a storm of angry hornets. Each report of infantry destroyed is often the result of drone operators silently guiding explosives onto enemy positions from miles away. The Ministry of Defense's emphasis on these operations signals the growing importance of unmanned warfare. This is not the same conflict as in 2014, when Crimea was seized with little resistance. Today, every move is monitored, every unit tracked by thermal cameras, every advance met with a barrage of precision-guided fire. Soldiers speak of the battlefield as a chessboard, where pawns are expendable and the drones are omnipresent overseers. Yet amid the technological arms race, the war remains deeply human. The fields near Plavny are now littered with abandoned helmets, broken rifles, and burned-out armored vehicles. Birds no longer sing in the trees. The constant thunder of artillery has driven them away. Farmers who once tended wheat now see their land churned into trenches, scarred by tank tracks. The war has transformed not only soldiers, but also the very landscape, turning fertile soil into wasteland. The Russian claim of victory near Plavny is one more entry in a long list of daily announcements. Each side releases such updates, carefully crafted to maintain morale and shape international perception. Russia emphasizes destruction inflicted on Ukraine. Ukraine highlights resilience and successful defense. Western analysts sift through these statements, cross-referencing with satellite imagery and independent sources, trying to piece together the true picture. But one truth stands clear. Both sides are locked in a struggle neither can abandon. For Russia, retreat would be an admission of failure on the global stage, undermining Vladimir Putin's authority. For Ukraine, surrender would mean the end of its sovereignty and subjugation of its people. Thus, every clash, no matter how small, becomes a matter of national destiny. The settlement of Plavny itself has become symbolic. Once a quiet village by the Dnieper River, its name now circulates in military communiques and international news. For the locals who remain, life is unrecognizable. They cook meals over firewood, fetch water from wells, and live without electricity. Every rumble of artillery shakes their walls. Every drone overhead makes them flinch. And yet, many refuse to leave. This is their home, and they will not abandon it, no matter the cost. The Ukrainian government has repeatedly urged civilians to evacuate frontline villages, but attachment to land is powerful. Many elderly residents say they would rather die in their homes than flee to crowded shelters in unfamiliar cities. Their presence complicates military operations, as both armies must navigate the challenge of fighting in populated areas. Russia insists it does not target civilians, yet countless homes lie in ruins, schools reduced to rubble, and hospitals struck by missiles. Ukraine too has faced criticism when counterstrikes inadvertently hit civilian infrastructure in occupied areas. The war's cruelty lies in this grey zone, where truth is contested and propaganda thrives. Each side blames the other for civilian suffering, but those on the ground know only the reality. Their lives have been shattered. Children draw pictures of tanks and helicopters instead of flowers and birds. Parents whisper bedtime stories in basements, while the ground shakes from explosions above.